What a time to be alive. I'm checking PGA scores right now. I got the big Thursday night football game on tonight, which doesn't blow, and then college football tomorrow. I mean, what a great time for DFS. The big guy is going to be so sweaty. Speaking of sweaty, let me turn on the fat kid fan over here. Just a great time to be playing DFS. Fucking excited, pumped about it. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate75. I'm a DFS content creator who is here to help you get a little bit better at DFS and to quit stepping on your own dick. I'm not going to do it with my gore plays and my top picks and all that stupid shit. I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to play the game and maybe help you form a process. If that sounds interesting, well, I encourage you to hang around for about the next 30 minutes. Maybe toss your question over in the chat and be a part of all these drawings we're going to be doing. Also, check out that schedule if you really like the cut of my jib. Every Monday and Thursday, I'm doing this show at noon, the Showdown, Hoedown, where we're breaking down the big Monday night, Thursday night game. I now have a show on Tuesday with the first look with my boy Tambo. Some people are saying it's a really nice show. I'm just saying. So come check that out. It will be on my station this upcoming Tuesday. We'll be switching that back and forth. Of course, I'm still doing the live stream last night. If you didn't see Cam Champ jumping around in little go-go shorts last night, you missed a show. And Friday and Saturday, I have my college football and NFL Final Thoughts show. Check those out, 7 o'clock Lord's time zone. Always doing giveaways because you know what I found? People really like to build lineups with me. I'll never understand why. Maybe it's because I split a whole bunch of money with a guy once and we're going to do it again. So for every 50 likes we get today, I'll be drawing. We will be putting it in the big Millionaire Maker contest tonight. I think it's a Millionaire Maker. And we will split the profits. I'd love to send you $500,000. So simply drop a like. And for every 50 we get, we draw. Surely we can get to 100, 150 likes, do 2 or 3 drawings. It'll be fun. Don't forget, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and turn on the notifications. It helps me and the editor so much. Let's shut the fuck up and let's get going. So much to do, so little time. So little to do, so much time. Reverse that. Willy Wonka reference coming in strong tonight. All right. So let's talk contest selection. First of all, let's talk about the Millionaire Maker, the one where I will be building tickets with you guys, and we will be doing a drawing. So all you got to do to get in that drawing is simply ask a question over there, right? And also be looking out for a tweet tomorrow night because I'm going to be giving away a free month on my website. Even if you're a current member, I'll just PayPal you the money back if you like and retweet over on Twitter, okay? So be looking out for that to get you a free month on the website. All right. The big Millionaire Maker tonight, it's exactly what you expect from a Millionaire Maker, right? It's 40% up top, and the problem is you're almost certainly going to chop that. This is a very, very negative EV tournament, right? Like if you max enter this, it's going to cost you $2,250. You know, you do that 3 times a week, you know, now you're up to almost $7,000. $7,000 times, let's say you do it all 18 weeks, you're talking, what, $125,000 it's going to take to max enter those things? I mean, you better spike 2 motherfather monsters to even break even, right? So when you really start to do the math on these Millionaire Makers, I'm telling you, dude, you just shouldn't play them. If you got your one single entry and you want to toss one in there because of FOMO, I get that. I truly do. But to be spamming every week, this is the best way to burn through your money is trying to chase this $1 million. First of all, you'll never win the $1 million because there's a bajillion people in it. And if you did happen to hit the nuts lineup, you're probably going to be duped like 78 times, okay? So just keep that in mind. You look at this 222, a much better payout structure with only 25% going to first. But look at this. People can enter 90 times in that. You don't want to be in contests like this, right? You go look at the $3.20 max, you'll see this is a great payout structure, but it's not great to be playing 158,000 people, right? So I just once again want to encourage you with Showdown. Try to play in reasonably sized contests. Just try this for me. Just for like 2 or 3 weeks. Just don't play in a single contest where there's more than 5,000 entrants, okay? And then, you know, the best part about that is you can have a really good lineup and win those GPPs or finish in the top 10 because how often do you see it that some fucking rando catches a touchdown? Blake Bell for the Chiefs last week, right? If you don't have him, you know, like you're almost dead now, right? Whereas you didn't have to have him to maybe win a smaller contest with less than 1,000 people if the rest of your lineup was good, right? So just really look into that. Just really consider not playing in these big mega contests and go play in something, you know, like I don't know what your budget is, but if you're in a $200 single entry, like look at this, only out 333 people in this. So much more sustainable, right? So much more reasonable to think that you could hit a good one. If that's too much for you, look at this. They got that $40 10 max. This is a great little contest. If you're just playing $400 tonight, this would probably be the best way that you could get your money in. You could build your narrative, and then you could build 10 different versions of this lineup. Shit, I might actually do that, Bob. Bob. That's a pretty good fucking contest. That's just a much better way. Look into single entries, 3 maxes, 20 maxes, contests, or that 10 max. Look at contests where you can max enter and stay within your budget, right? Also, the best thing about those contests is they tend to be smaller and they tend to have better payout structures. That is such a more sustainable way to play Showdown. Because let's face it, this is what you and almost everybody does. You get all excited about the NFL season, you go bust your nut on the first couple Showdown slates, you get like 10% of your money back, and now you've already been like, wow, if I keep doing this all year, I'm going to burn through $100,000. And I don't think my wife's going to like that. So maybe quit doing that and go get in contests where you can have a real chance at getting some ROI on your money. And that will be such a more sustainable thing. And you will enjoy Showdown so much, and you will not get your balls tilted off. And most importantly, you won't bitch quit by week 5 because you've already burnt through all your money. So that is my advice to you, okay? All right, let's go check it out. The weather for tonight, I think you always want to be considering the weather anytime that they're north of the Mason-Dixon line. For all of you that are geographically challenged, Philadelphia is north of the Mason-Dixon line. So the game is in Philadelphia tonight, and you can see it looks like there might be some gusts, but there's not expecting any rain, so I think the weather's going to be fine tonight. The reason we need to factor that in is we've already seen, just in these first 2 weeks of the NFL, or I guess the first week and plus of NFL, we've already seen the weather start to impact some of these games. And so to not consider that, right? When there's going to be rain or winds or snow and things like that, defenses, running backs become much more valuable than they would be in a normal NFL game. So that's something you always want to consider. I don't see anything as of right now that looks too concerning for tonight. But of course, over on the site, I will be updating it tonight, okay? One quick plug. If you are building lineups and you are not, if you're playing Showdown and you're not looking at projections, just know you're already so far behind. I get the whole I watch a lot of NFL, I know stuff. Yes, that's good. That is probably part of the equation. It can help you build rosters, but to completely ignore projections, you're being a fool. Find somebody who has, either make your own projections or find somebody who builds projections that you trust. You're going to need both point projections and you're going to need ownership. Yes, do I do it? Of course I do. I'm a sweaty fucking tryhard. You can see them right there. They're always loaded in for every Showdown slate, the main slate, college football, PGA Showdown. Every single thing I do content for, I make projections for, and I load them right here into the solver. The solver is the best optimizer out there. If you're building over 10 lineups a week and not using an optimizer, God bless your soul. God bless your soul, because you hate yourself, okay? I really encourage you to do it, and if you're thinking you're a casual, you can't afford it, I get it. I've seen what other optimizers go for out there. This one, you can get all the sports they offer with my projections loaded in there for all the sports I do, $39.99 a month. You just make sure to use that little Showdown, Hoedown symbol, and it will get you on there. You will not regret it. Look at that. Already up to 68 likes. The push for 100 is on. Matter of fact, once we get to 100, we'll just do every 25 likes after that. Let's see if we can get to 125 likes today, okay? All right, this is the Rosetta Stone. Yes, this is the dumbed down version that I put here on YouTube. If you want the fancy colored up one, the one that looks like this, here's our one from last week that has all the ownership, all the leverage, all of the color coded to know if they're a cash play, a GPP play. Well, that's over on the website. You are on the YouTube. You will be happy with what you get, okay? You want to quit being so beggy. All right, here we go. Look at that. 81 likes. This is the slate tonight. It's honestly a pretty good game. Let's face it. We have had a rash of shitty games from last year and to start this year on the main slate, right? And even the one game that was supposed to be fun, the Jets and the Bills, Aaron Rodgers just decides to die on the 4th play of the game. And so that game ended up sucking, right? You will never convince me you can have a good Showdown game when Zach Wilson is the quarterback. Literally impossible. Literally impossible. So here's what I will tell you. Tonight's game, I think it's going to be fun, right? We have a 49-point total, which is certainly on the higher end of the spectrum when it comes to over-unders in the NFL. We have a 6.5-point line, which is a bit high, right? There is a chance that Philly's going to beat the brakes off of Minnesota because Philadelphia is probably the best all-around team in the NFL. But I do think it's worth noting that Philadelphia does have a new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and didn't exactly look like world beaters in week 1, right? Like the Patriots were like uncomfortably close to beating the Eagles, right? So I think that the Eagles are not super polished yet, and I think that there's something to that, and that you don't want to think that this is already the Philadelphia team. If you think they're going to win the Super Bowl, I don't even hate that take. But I'll tell you right now, they are not playing like a Super Bowl caliber team yet, and I think that needs to be factored in. They are not a dominant defense yet, and they are certainly not a dominant offense yet, And I think that you're going to get into a lot of people building tonight around Philadelphia blowing out Minnesota. And I am just not convinced that this team is there yet. Do I think that if this game were week 16, would they beat the brakes off of Minnesota? Yeah, I do, Bob. But this is week 2, and I don't think they're there yet. I think they're still trying to gel. They're still trying to figure shit out. And because of that, I think that you can already get off a big narrative that Philadelphia is going to blow them out tonight just by playing the narrative that Minnesota is going to either be competitive in this game or Minnesota is going to win. I think that is a narrative that hardly anybody is going to build on. If you're willing to run 4-2 Minnesota stacks or 5-1 Minnesota stacks, I think that will have you vastly different than about 80 to 90% of the field right there. Because the most common build this tonight is certainly going to be 3-3s, and I think right behind that is going to be 4-2 Eagles builds. So if you're willing to get a little icky and just in the way you construct your roster, 4-2 Minnesotas or 5-1 Minnesotas, especially if you have one of them at the captain, is going to be a dramatically different build. And right there, you can already be constructing your lineup different than everybody else. Right? So if your narrative is that Minnesota is going to be competitive or that Minnesota is going to win this game, right there, play 4-2 Minnesota, and you're already vastly different than everybody else, okay? From there, I think that you're going to have 2 monsters in the captain spot tonight. I think that you're going to see Jalen Hurts will be the runaway captain tonight. He just offers such an incredibly safe floor and an incredibly high ceiling. What he does with his legs gives him a certain baseline. He gets so much done just through his volume that, like, he's almost like, how can you fade him type guy, right? The one way that you can fade Jalen Hurts tonight is there are other spin-up options, most notably Justin Jefferson, right? Justin Jefferson is an incredible, 12,400. That is not a number we ever see on Showdown slates, and when they are, it's almost always a quarterback, right? So that is an incredible price tag, and I love that DraftKings did this because it basically made it where, like, if you're playing Jefferson and Hurts, you're just punting with the rest of your lineup, right? So those are two are going to eat up most of the captain spots. But when you have 2 very expensive guys who are going to eat up all the captain spots, if you really think about the game theory part of it, what that does is that opens up tons of value at the captain spot for all those second tier guys. Who are our second tier guys? That's going to be your AJ Browns, your Devontae Smiths, your TJ Hawkinsons, your Dallas Goederts, guys like that. Your Alexander Madison, right? All those guys that basically, and even Kirk Cousins, basically everybody from like 10,000 through 6,000 are going to be inherently under-owned in the captain spot because the people are going to do one of 2 things tonight. They're going to pay up and get Jalen Hurts or Justin Jefferson at the captain, or they're going to take the quote-unquote free square and go play DeAndre Swift at the captain spot, which leads us with the injury news, okay? As you will notice, I have Kenneth Gainwell here on my Rosetta Stone. I am fully aware that Kenneth Gainwell is out tonight. That's why I have a big fucking line through him, donkey dick. So why did I put him on there? Because it is worth noting that the Kenneth Gainwell news is largely going to determine what people do with their lineup tonight, okay? How does that impact usage? What most people are going to do is they're going to go play DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift at 4,000, if he is the leading running back and if he gets his, 15 plus touches, he's almost a shoo-in to be a great play tonight, right? But don't forget, the coaches hate DeAndre Swift. I don't know what DeAndre Swift does, right? He must be sleeping with their wives or something because every coaching staff has hated this guy. And every time we see how efficient he is, how talented he is, we think, surely they'll give him 20 touches. And the dude just never gets the touches. I don't know why they hate him. I wish I knew why. But DeAndre Swift, there is a very good chance that he is going to be a great play tonight if he does get that leading work for Philadelphia in a game script where they are likely to be ahead. He seems like a shoe-in play at 4,000. But let's face it, DeAndre Swift has let us down more than once, right? And there's definitely a path to Boston Scott eating up some of that usage. And there's also Rashad Penny is likely to be active tonight, as you got to have NFL teams have to have 3 active running backs. And if Rashad Penny is active, maybe he gets a little bit of that run too. And so that Philadelphia backfill, how you handle that will determine your success tonight. And to me, I see that there is basically 3 ways to handle it. There is the first one, which most people are going to do. They're going to eat the DeAndre Swift chalk, and they're going to assume that he is going to lead that backfield, and he is going to be efficient and good in this offense, much like he was in Detroit whenever he got those touches. The second way people are going to handle this is they're going to play 2 Philadelphia backs, right? And you basically just play the game of one of these 2 guys is certainly going to do well, and the other one will probably be good enough because they're so cheap that you can easily put 2 of them in your lineup. But I think the third, and definitely the most unique way to play this Philadelphia backfield, is you just completely fucking fade it. You just say, I don't know everybody, but I do know this. Here's what I do know. 60 or 70% of lineups will contain a Philadelphia back, and there is a chance that they just spread it out between all three of those guys. None of them get more than 6 or 7 points. And I could fade it, right? Jalen Hurts vultures all the rushing touchdowns, or they throw for a bunch of passing touchdowns, and just none of those guys get there. And then I'm building my roster completely different than something like 70% of the field. I will not play my punt as a Philadelphia running back. I will play my punt elsewhere, right? And so those are the three big strategies. I don't know which one's the right answer, but I do know that that is the three ways to build tonight. And determining what you're going to do with that Philadelphia backfield will be the difference in your success tonight. I truly believe that position more than anywhere else. All right, going back and looking at, 106 likes. We're pushing hard to 125 over here, you motherfathers. People love to build tickets with a big guy. All right, so just looking at the slate, we're going to go over this. Then we'll get over here to Q&A and we'll just let the likes keep rolling in. So, by the way, I'm going to be doing this every Monday and Thursday at noon, so be here, and with Tambo every Tuesday at noon. So just start making this part of your lunch hour, okay? You grab your McDonald's, you get your chicken McNuggies, you get your fry, you get your Diet Coke, and you tune the fuck in, okay? Minnesota, Kirk Cousins at 9,200. I think, there's the narrative that Kirk Cousins sucks in primetime, and it's honestly not a narrative. It seems to be backed up empirically, right? But it is a narrative, and the thing about narratives, they can be broken. So 9,200 for a starting quarterback in a game that has shootout potential, I think he's actually a relatively good value, and honestly not even that bad of a play at the captain spot. Alexander Mattison, Ty Chandler, and C.J. Ham, the running backs from Minnesota. If the game script plays out the way we think, and we think that they're going to be playing from behind, all of these guys get discounted. But Ty Chandler is a guy that did get a lot of third down work, right? He did not get a lot of snaps last week. I believe he only played 11 snaps. So you got to be concerned about that. But if those 11 snaps are going to be like the 11 snaps that Latavius Murray got for the Bills, and he's always out there in the 2-minute offense, those are the most valuable downs that a running back can get. And at 1,200, he could pay that off, especially if Minnesota is playing from behind. So if you're buying the narrative that Minnesota is behind, I really like Ty Chandler. If you're playing the narrative that Minnesota is going to be out ahead and controlling this game, I really like Alexander Mattison, right? This is why you have to let your narrative dictate your player pool. At receivers, we all know Justin Jefferson, a god. He is definitively the best offensive player in the NFL. I will fight you with my fist if you disagree with that. But the second wide receiver is where it gets really interesting. Minnesota is really nice in that they basically only run 3 wide receivers. Yes, I put Brandon Powell on there, but he runs like 3 routes a game, okay? There's a reason he's $200. And if you watched last week's game, Jordan Addison, the rookie, caught the big touchdown. He seems like he's going to be the number 2, right? So people are naturally going to gravitate toward Jordan Addison. But do not forget, KJ Osborne was out on the field. And if you don't know, rule number 1 of fantasy, you can't score points if you're not on the field. And KJ Osborne's out there, which gives him chances to score. He had a touchdown that Kirk Cousins just made a poor throw, or all of a sudden he has a very good game, right? So I think that just a great pivot that you could make is to get off Jordan Addison is just to give a look at KJ Osborne. He's going to be out there just as much. He's going to be running as many, if not more routes than Jordan Addison, and he's a legit NFL receiver. So don't get caught up in all the Jordan Addison hype just because he caught the 1 touchdown. If you take that away from him, KJ Osborne was more involved in the play-to-play offense for the Vikings last week. I think TJ Hawkinson's just one of those tight ends that like he either does dick or he breaks the slate, right? So it's weird that I would say I'm okay with a tight end in the captain spot. Really, it's usually only Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce that I ever would put in my captain position when it comes to Showdown. But TJ Hawkinson is one of those guys that just goes for 27 points all the time, right? And 27 points out of 6,800, that will get you there, right? And when you put a medium-priced guy like that, not only are you building your lineup differently, but he also opens up some money for you to build to get some more studs in there, right? Because you're not spending that 17 or 18,000 on Hurts and Jefferson, right? If you think that Minnesota is going to be playing ahead, I think their defense and their kicker are both viable plays, right? But if you think this game's going to be a shootout, I think that you really want to stick away from kickers because kickers get outpaced by third down running backs, by third wide receivers, and by tight ends in high-scoring shootout games. So let your narrative dictate if you want to play kickers, okay? Moving over to Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is unbelievable. As far as fantasy goes, he is without question the safest fantasy quarterback you could possibly have. And in a game of Showdown, it's like, how is he ever not going to get there, right? And you think, well, he could get hurt. I'm just telling you, Jalen Hurts is a fucking tank, and he's not going to just die on the 4th play, okay? We've already gave plenty of time talking about the Philadelphia backfield. We're not going to talk about that, but I think that the Philadelphia wide receivers become very interesting. As people want to pay up for Hurts and Jefferson, it becomes a mathematical certainty that they're not going to be able to afford A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Yes, Devontae had the touchdown in week 1, which saved his week, but A.J. Brown did not have a great week 1, and I think that you are probably going to get him a discounted ownership, and A.J. Brown is a lot like T.J. Hawkinson in that he has a lot of games where he does dick, but when he goes off, he goes off. So he's a very interesting guy to put in the captain spot for me because he does have those games where he just completely breaks the slate. And if you have him in the captain spot, you can see I don't think he's going to be very owned there. If you're desperate to play a third wide receiver for Philadelphia, I think, of course, you're going to look at Watkins or Zucchini. But I think that if you really want to play a Philadelphia third wide receiver, you just go play their tight end, Dallas Goedert. He only had 1 target in week 1. People think that he is forgotten about. He has moved out. And there's also this thing called people fucking overreact. It's 1 week. Dallas Goedert is going to be fine. He is part of this offense. He was out on the field. He just didn't get a ton of targets. So I think you can take advantage of people selling on Dallas Goedert, and you can go right back to him if he fits your narrative. Lastly, Elliott and the Eagles, 2 guys that pair very nicely together. The defense and the kicker often are correlated together, and if you think Philadelphia is going to be playing this game ahead, they're going to win this game something like 30-7 or something like that, well, then playing both the Eagles defense and the Eagles kicker are 2 pieces that can get there if you're doing like a 5-1 Philly stack and you want to get to some of the more pay-up options for Philly, right? But once again, stacking those 2 only makes sense in the right narratives. If you think this game is going to be 28-27, you don't want to play Jake Elliott. He will get outpaced by tight ends and running backs and third wide receivers. If you think that the Eagles are going to be playing from behind, well, then you don't want to be playing their defense because they're not going to be able to pin their ears back and go get the quarterback, which is where you get most of your plays. If you think the Eagles are going to be playing from ahead, the Eagles defense becomes very, very appealing, right? Because now they're getting more chances. And we all know Kirk Cousins is not allergic to throwing a pick 6. Hey, we're up to 119 likes. We're going to get to the drawing. It looks like we already have 2 editor working on a third. If we get to 150 likes, I'll do a 4th drawing. Hey, come check out my site, dgen75.com, the fastest growing community in DFS. We have PGA, we have NFL, of course, Showdown, and then we have college football, everything you need. If you want to try out my site, but you're kind of like, I don't pay for no sites, man. I just watch that free YouTube shit. I get it. I really do. So here's the deal I'll make you. Go sign up for this football newsletter right here. Show the editor at the DGen editor on Twitter you did it. We'll give you a free week on the site because I know once you're on the site for a week, you'd be like, oh, shit, man, I didn't know you did all that. I think I'm going to stay around. That's why I give free weeks. And don't forget, I'm giving away the free month Saturday night. Probably give away a couple free months. So be looking to like and retweet that over on Twitter, okay? Lastly, I have the Rosetta Stone over there, the best tool. It has all the relevant information you need to know to make your player pool. I put it all right here. This is what goes out on my site. And, of course, I will be doing a live stream tonight behind the paywall at 6 o'clock once we get the inactives, okay? Let's get to it, editor. We're up to 125 likes. Editor, draw me 3 names to build lineups with me tonight. Guys, if we get to 150, I'll do another one. Simply to get in the drawing, all you got to do is be here live for these and do and ask a question. That will get you in there. So, editor, give me 3 names. While he does that, I want to remind everybody, after you get done watching my show, go head over and watch my boys at Ship It. They are going to be doing their Thursday night show right at the top of the hour. So here in about 38 minutes, go check out their show. They're my homies. We are partnered. They scratch my back, I scratch their back, and you know more than that, we just have the same values, and that's fucking important to me, Bob. There you go. All right, our first one, Andrew Yee. There it is. Andrew, that's 1. Give me another one, editor, and then we get to the questions. Billy Gableman, he doesn't count. I want another one, editor. I want another one. I'll build a lineup with Billy for free, but he's part of the team. He doesn't care. Anton Banks, I know that guy. All right, so that's 2. One more, editor. One more because we're not counting Billy. And Billy, Paul Marino. There you go. Marino. You know we got to play a quarterback at captain with that last name, Paul. Yes, silly mother father. All right, there you go. If we get to 150 likes, I will do another drawing, okay? I will do another one. In the meantime, let me get to questions. Let me pull the stone back up, get over here to my stone, answer some questions, and let's try to get out of here by, I don't know, 12:35, 12:40, something like that. I'm out of cold brew, and I'm getting the shakes, man. I'm getting the shakes, bro. Okay. Moving on. Nick says, let's see, are they popping up on my screen today, editor? Let's go. We got the whole chat figured out again. Fading both AJ and JJ. Am I a fool? No, I look, if you think that the game's going to be a little bit slow and sloggy and that the running backs are going to do a lot, I think there's definitely a path to that. Definitely a path to that, right? There's always a path to fading wide receivers because wide receivers, more than any other position on the field, are dependent on another person called the quarterback to get him the ball, right? Like, you can definitely always fade Garrett Wilson because Zach Wilson has to throw him the ball, right? So there's always a path to fading wide receivers. Sometimes there's just not a path to fading some running backs or some quarterbacks on certain showdown slates. That's a real thing. All right, Jacob says, let's go. Asking a question early because I'm at work. Is there a specific website to pull the stats each week for projections? What do you mean? You can go to, there's a lot of places to get player stats. PFF is a good one. I think that's where we pull some of our stats for targets and all that stuff. Which, by the way, is Monday here? If Monday's here, we need to start adding targets and all of that to the stone. Monday. Editor, remind me to tell Monday that. We got to get that out for the NFL Stone this week. Targets, run share, all of that. Now that we have a game of data, let's get it fixed. Be better, Monday. All right, I feel like Olds Bugs Bunny versus... okay. Whatever, Nick. Don't talk to me about PGA. Do you like ham sandwiches? I don't, but I don't mind CJ ham sandwiches, if you know what I'm saying, big guy. Look, the Minnesota running back, people are just going to completely discount them, right? Everybody's going to spend all their time playing a Philadelphia running back, and really maybe the way to get different is to play a Minnesota running back. Whether that's Madison in a game where they're leading, Chandler in a game in which they are behind, or maybe CJ Ham just vulturing a touchdown, right? That is a possibility. Let's see. Moving on. Thoughts on fading JJ? Look, that price tag is outrageous. $12,400 is one of the craziest price tags I've ever seen at a showdown slate. And here is the path to fading Justin Jefferson. You come up with a narrative that Minnesota is playing ahead and that Philadelphia is just scheming him out of the game. You can scheme a guy out of the game. Darius Slay is a guy that is a good corner. Now, I do not buy that Darius Slay can shut down Justin Jefferson. Nobody can. But Darius Slay can shut down Justin Jefferson when the whole defense is slanted to that side of the field, right? So there is a path to which Philadelphia says, we are going to take away your best player because the rest of your players fucking suck, and Justin Jefferson gets faded out of the game, right? That is a distinct possibility. You know, you can't scheme a game plan to take Jalen Hurts out of the game. You just can't do it, right? Because he can get it done with his legs, he can get it done with his arm. You can't do it, but you can always scheme a wide receiver out of a game if that is the goal of your defense. And I think that wouldn't be a crazy goal for Philadelphia to have, as Justin Jefferson is unbelievable. Double tight ends, the sneaky play and fade all running backs. I love that, Dominic. I really do. I think that's a great play because I think both of these tight ends are basically third wide receivers, right? As a matter of fact, you could make an argument that Hawkinson is the number 2 wide receiver for Philadelphia and Dallas Goedert is the number 3 wide receiver for the Eagles, right? And when you think of it like that, I think that makes the tight ends who are going to be lower owned tonight relative to what they should be very good, and then it gets you off a lot of that running back chalk that people are going to take simply because the price tag is lower, right? Leroy Williams, how messy is the Eagles' backfield? Is it worth fading at all tonight? Leroy, it is messy, and usually when I see messy at a showdown, that makes me more inclined to want to play it, right? Because getting those messy backfield situations and hitting it correctly can be the nuts. But it would seem as though, to me, with the Philadelphia thing, with Gainwell being out, with Gainwell was there, I would say fade this backfield. But with Gainwell out, it's almost like I want to play this backfield because there's so much uncertainty. But it seems as though a lot of people are going to be playing it, which actually makes me less likely to want to play it. Is it true that only 3 wide receivers ran routes last week? Ryan, I don't have that number off my head, but that might be true. I don't even know if Brandon Powell ran one. Let's see. Goddard, big bounce back game. I don't mind it, Brett. Don't mind it. JJ captain or fade? I kind of like that. That's one way to play Justin Jefferson is you put him in that captain spot is he will be not crazy owned at captain because that's literally like what, $18,600 on just your captain? My God, right? So that is a way to play him to perhaps be a little different. Playing him in the flex, I think he's going to be very popular there. Question is we get to ask ourselves, do you want to stick to Vikings or the Eagles? Simple. Question is we got to ask is ourselves is, do you want to stack Vikings or Eagles? Yeah, I mean, to me, I always like to lean 4-2 or 5-1 one way or the other. That seems to be the biggest way to get different with your builds. What's up, motherfather? Do you avoid using all your salary? Yes, that's a great question, Brendan. Brendan, is this. I basically cap my lineups at 49.8 because if you don't spend 49.9 or 5,000 and you're willing to leave a few $100s on the table or upwards of 1,000, maybe 1,500 depending on the slate, that right there will vastly get you different, and you're not giving up a ton of quality just by leaving those few $100s on the table, right? Will a 4-2 Philadelphia be the way to go tonight, Joanne? I don't think so, just because, I mean, it could likely be the optimal lineup, but it's also going to be the most popular build, right? A 3-3 or a 4-2 Philly is going to be very, very popular tonight. So if I'm playing that, I would just not want to play it, because if that lineup hits, I'm splitting it with 57 people. Eating chicken wings with a lot of questions, but playing all 3 running backs from the Eagle and 0 Minnesota. All 3, I mean, I guess you could do that, but man, you really are playing a very specific narrative. Matt Gannon, 2024, the year of DGen 75. Be great, brother. Thanks, Matt, you motherfather. I hope it is. Does Kirk break the primetime curse? I mean, look, here's the thing with narratives. They're fucking narratives, all right? I never buy them, right? You know, the guy who's not hitting the ball well, or, he doesn't like Thursday night, or, he had the shits. I don't care, right? Like, that narrative is not going to get me off Kirk Cousins. That's what I would say, Ryan. Now, maybe the game script will get me off Kirk Cousins, but sure as shit, not going to be some lazy-ass narrative. KJ Osborne as captain, yeah, I don't mind that, right? If they're going to take away Justin Jefferson, if Philadelphia schemes to take him away, KJ Osborne is a guy who could get 6 catches, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He has that in him, and if he does that at that price tag, he would certainly break the slate, and you would want to have him at captain. Dallas Goedert at captain, going to win it. I don't hate that, brother. Don't hate it. What range of randomness do you use for your showdown? I believe if you're talking about over on the solver variation, I do about 20% on my variance, just because I want to get a mix of my player pool. I trust my player pool more than I trust my projections, although I do want those projections to make the best version of my player pool, if that makes sense, okay? Got to get to 150 likes, people. I see 156 people in here, only 136 likes. We'll do one more drawing. Who will be the lowest owned captain tonight? I mean, Star-Lord. Obviously, the lowest owned captain is going to be like Rashad Penny or somebody like that, right? If you want to know who's going to be the lowest owned captain when it comes to, like, that's a reasonable, actionable play, I bet it would be somebody like Osborne, right? Like somebody you could, like, conceivably win with. Kins has $1 million. Can I has the $1 million? Well, Epic Road, and if you win a drawing, you can. Is there a path to fade Hurts but play his pass catchers? No. I mean, he gets so much done with his legs, I just can't see it, right? Like, to me, the only way to fade Hurts is you better be stacking at least 2 of those running backs, maybe 1 pass catcher, but damn, to stack 2 of his pass catchers and assume that he is going to get 2 pass catchers there and then not also get himself there with his legs, I just cannot see that ever happening. I can't. I mean, I'm sure there's some game script that could, but I don't like it, Bob. What do you do with Penny? I mean, to me, I think that if there's one person that staff hates more than DeAndre Swift, it is Rashad Penny, so I can't get there. But look, he could be the secret play, right? Maybe they go with the hot hand tonight. He comes in his first run, he gets 9-yard run. They're like, oh, shit, like how he's running downhill tonight, and they just stick with him, right? What are your thoughts on having both defenses in the lineup? Look, if you think this game's going to be a slog 17-16, I think that both defenses and both kickers, I don't know about all 4 of them in the same lineup, but all 4 of them become viable plays in your builds. I never like to have more than 2 defenses or kickers combined in my lineups, right? Even in the sloggiest things, because they just get outpaced so quickly by other positions. Addison and the captain seems nice. He does, but I think he's going to be a little bit more popular than you think, C. Floyd. 5-1 stack, the most optimal. It is the most optimal if you want to be different. I don't think it's the most optimal in general, no. Best advice for a new guy. Get into good contests where a good lineup will win you money, not a nutted lineup. Fade Hurts for the nuts. I mean, if you're willing to fade Hurts, you're going to be, I think he'll be over 80% owned, so you can box out so many people just by doing that. That $10 10 max getting my money over the Millie Maker. Frankie, that's exactly right. I forgot to mention that earlier. When I said the $40 10 max, that $10 10 max is nutted too, right? Hawkinson and the captain, don't mind it at all. I think him and Goddard are two very... Goddard and Hawkinson and Osborne are 3 medium-priced guys that I think are going to go dramatically under-owned in the captain spot. And then I think A.J. Brown will also be lower owned in the captain spot, but he's also very expensive, right? Going to struggle tonight, I think. Eagles start the Cousins. If you think Cousins is going to start, you're going to want the Eagles defense, because the Eagles defense can roll up those turnovers and those sacks, and a pick 6 always on the table. Main slate, a main slate listener league. Yeah, it's not here yet, but I will have it out there. It's in my newsletter, which will be dropping tomorrow morning, so you can get it there, or it will be on the Saturday night one. But yes, there will be a main slate one, right? Contest league. Who benefits the most from the Eagles secondary injury? Addison, Hawkinson, or Osborne? I would probably say I don't know. I guess I guess Osborne, but really all three of them I think could benefit equally. We're just guessing. Any position you would never make a captain, I never, hardly ever make a kicker my captain. I just don't do it. I just think that's a very negative EV play. And I never play punt tight ends as my captain either, right? These are not punt tight ends. These are both top 10 tight ends in the NFL. What's your contest structure guideline? I like 10% to first. I like second place to be at least half of first, and 10th place to be at least 1/10. I just really focus on the top 10, Sean. I don't focus too much on the overall payout because I'm really only playing for top 10s. All right, looking for questions. Fade the Eagles running back roulette. I think that's a very viable path, and it will get you different than a lot of people. Keep it to 2 questions. Keep it to 2 questions, people. I'll be here all night, okay? Crypto Pooper. People have a very easy schedule last year. Much tougher this year. Yeah, Philadelphia's schedule is much tougher. That's what happens in the NFL. When you have a good season, they pair you up against all the division winners from the year before, so your schedule obviously gets tougher. 6 more likes. We'll do 1 more drawing, guys. You're running out of time. Are you Crazy Eddie's son? I don't even know what the shit that means. How do you love Hawkinson as a captain tonight against an Eagles defense that gave up a lot to the Pats? I believe you mean, how do you not love him? I think that, like, seeing what Hunter Henry did last week, just know TJ Hawkinson is a lot better than him. With a 5-1 Minnesota stack, do you put the Vikings defense in your lineup? Yes. If I'm running 5-1 Minnesota, I will have anytime I'm running a 5-1, it will almost always either have the kicker or the defense in it, because if they are dominating the game, one of those two are almost always getting there along with 4 position players. Does that make sense? And sometimes I think you can run them both, right? Delbert says, smash the like button. We're up to 147 right on cue. How about a Hurts captain with a pass catcher and 4 Vikes? I don't hate it. Hurts is a guy that can almost get there by himself, right? You could almost run Hurts in 5 Minnesota as a comeback, right? Or maybe you run Hurts and one of his lower owned pass catchers, a Quez Watkins or a Dallas Goedert, right? And then run it back with 4 Vikes. I think that's a very contrarian build, because it's not crazy that Jalen Hurts could rush for 60 yards, have 2 rushing touchdowns, and then throw 1 passing touchdown to a scrub, and then, maybe pass for 200 yards and spreads that out to all of his pass catchers. And you just need a little piece of that from your 1 pass catcher, right? That is a very, very viable option. Moving on. Sorry, Billy. Didn't mean to screw you. Will a 5-1 Eagles onslaught be under-owned for their likelihood of being optimal? Yeah, I think that most people just do not want to build 5-1s. And even with a 6.5 point spread, I think that obviously Eagles 5-1 will be much more popular than a Vikings 5-1, but it's still not going to be overall popular. I would guess somewhere in the 5 to 8% range of lineups will be built that way. Is this game leave salary on the table? I mean, you can, but I'm not leaving more than 1,000 for me, just because we don't have any big injury news that's opening up too much value, except at the Philadelphia running back room, which I don't even really love. I just, that to me, that just seems like a trap. And yes, it may break the slate and help some people get there, but the day that I play DeAndre Swift at 45% ownership is the day that I will take 1 kick in the dick. Do you think that lower tight ends will be lower ownership? Yes, definitely. No one is playing the backup tight ends. Josh Oliver and Jake Stoll. No one's playing them, right? Let's see. Do you worry about the Eagles' defensive line dominating the line of scrimmage? Absolutely. Eagles got some animals up front, and that is a real possibility. That's why, I'm not Xing the Eagles' defense out of it, right? But the problem is if I play the Eagles' onslaught, I basically got to go 5-1 to get different. And if I do that, I can assure you the Eagles' defense will be part of that. Best wide receiver in the NFL. Where did he go to college again? I believe he went to Florida. I'm pretty sure Justin Jefferson was a Gator. And for all of you being like, no, he didn't. Bro, shut up. I know what I'm talking about. Would you play 2 Eagles in the running backs? Yes, I would. Look, if that is one way to play that Eagles situation different, it's just play 2 of them, right? I think that's the best way to be different, especially if you want to go Scott and Penny. Cousins can't do it in prime time. Or he could. Moving on. There's our contest winners getting back. Oh, editor, we got 151 likes. Give me another drawing. I'm going to answer questions for 3 more minutes while you answer that. Leaning 5-1s or 4-2s early on. Well, if I'm going to go Minnesota, it will be 4-2. If I go Eagles, it will be 5-1, right? Because the only way to Eagles are going to be very popular tonight. So really the only way to play them to have any type of leverage on the field, in my opinion, is to play a 5-1 build. I am playing to ship GPPs solo. I am not trying to chop it 13 ways. Favorite leverage play? The tight ends, for sure. I think the tight ends are great leverage plays tonight. And Showdown, is it okay to give up value in your lineups in order to build a lineup that fits a specific game scenario? Yeah, I think so. If you really are buying into that narrative, you have a hot take on how the game's going to play. Crypto Pooper, there you go. Way to shit on this one. Let's see. Vikings, 5-1, Vikings, crazy stack? Not at all. Not at all, Jeff. SH Kim -4. Wait, Crypto Pooper, he better not have won with that stupid statement. Quit talking about golf in my fucking NFL chat. Which tight end after Hawkinson and Goddard? Oh, I mean, none, I guess. I mean, if you made me pick, I'd say Josh Oliver, right? Someone, I just think he'll get more run than old Jake Stoll, but that I'm completely guessing. Should I crush Philly steak sandwich tonight? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to Jersey Mike's, and I'm having a Philly cheesesteak, and then I'm playing all Vikings just to be ironical. We're going to get there. Let's go with the likes. Yeah, we got there. We got there, bro. See if it's 150 likes. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to turn on your notifications, drop a like and a sub. Don't see many. Do you drink Red Bull? I don't. This is just how I am. I drink cold brews. Red Bulls has sugar, and I don't put sugar in this temple. Okay, I'm a little chubby, but you know what? I'm a gym bro. I actually hurt my elbow. Look at that. Hurt my elbow doing lifts yesterday. I got the old ice pack on it right now because, I lift so much heavy weight that, sometimes I, hurt myself. Okay. If you want to know what best describes me, Family Guy, I'm the 1940s buff fat guy. That's what I am. 1940s buff fat guy. That's me. But I'm real good at basketball. Okay, like Swift at captain, I don't. He's going to be so chalky. I'll get elsewhere. All right, guys, I think that's it. Do not forget to come check out djn75.com. Just sign up for the newsletter. Get a free week at the DJN Editor on Twitter. You will not regret it. Once you're there for a full week, you're going to love it. I will be doing tons of giveaways at the stream Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Be there for it. And don't forget to go check out my boys at Ship It right after this. They go off in 21 minutes at the top of the hour. I hope to see you there. For all you members, do not forget we have our stream tonight at 6 o'clock on the website. It's been fun. It's been real. I will see you tomorrow night for college football, and I will see you Saturday night for NFL Final Thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed this show. It's been real. Thank you all of you for being here. Enjoy this outro, you mother father.